The spotlight felt blinding, but for 14-year-old Jaden, it was nothing compared to the streets he had grown up on. For years, the cracked sidewalks of downtown had been his stage, the hum of passing cars his orchestra. With a second-hand guitar he'd found in a thrift shop dumpster, Jaden had taught himself to play, his tiny fingers bleeding at first, until they learned to dance across the strings. Tonight was different, though. Tonight, for the very first time, he was standing on the stage of America's Got Talent, staring into a crowd he never thought would look at him twice. His worn sneakers shook against the polished floor as Simon Cowell's eyes narrowed curiously from behind the judge's desk. The audience expected another shaky performance, maybe even a quick buzz. Jaden's torn hoodie and nervous posture didn't exactly scream, "Superstar." But when he strummed the first chord, silence fell over the theater. The melody wasn't flashy, it was raw, pure, and painfully beautiful. Each note carried a piece of his story, the nights he slept on park benches, the mornings he played on street corners for loose change, the afternoons he watched families walk by with the kind of love he'd only dreamed about. His voice cracked at first, but instead of breaking, it grew stronger, like a boy who had carried too many burdens but refused to let them crush him. Midway through, people began wiping their eyes. The audience could feel it, this wasn't just a song. It was a cry for hope, a testimony of resilience, a reminder that even in the darkest places, music could be light. By the time Jaden hit the last trembling note, the theater was on its feet. The roar of applause echoed through his chest, but what came next left everyone breathless. Simon leaned forward, his face unusually soft. For a man known for harsh words, his silence spoke volumes. Then, with a decisive slam of his hand, the golden buzzer exploded above Jaden's head. Golden confetti rained down like blessings from the heavens. Jaden froze, staring at the glittering sky, unable to process what had just happened. Tears welled in his eyes, not just because he'd won the moment, but because for the first time in his life, someone important believed in him. But Simon didn't stop there. He stood, walked onto the stage, and did something no one expected. He placed a hand on Jaden's shoulder and whispered into the mic, "This boy has been singing for survival, and tonight he sang for the world. You don't just deserve this stage, you deserve a future." Then, turning to the crowd, Simon announced that he would personally mentor Jaden and make sure he got the support he needed, not just as an artist, but as a young man who had been forgotten for too long. The ovation was thunderous, but Jaden only heard his own heartbeat. In that moment, the street kid became something more, a symbol of hope, proof that kindness could rewrite a destiny. He closed his eyes, letting the confetti stick to his tears, and whispered to himself, "I'm not invisible anymore." And somewhere in the hearts of millions watching, a quiet truth settled in: when given a chance, even the forgotten can shine brighter than the stars.